Okay, we're gonna try this. Okay, get this up and going here. Give me just a second. So it has been quite the interesting day. So basically, give me just a second here. So this is the only way I was able to get a stream going today, is basically running it entirely through the Starlink and just using that as my one internet connection. So we have 0 internet bonding today, and we have none of the overlays or anything like that. So if the stream gets choppy or cuts out, please just have a little bit of patience for it, because it was literally stream like this or not stream at all. So I don't exactly know where I'm going to start going. I'm going to start going north, I know that. So Google Maps is going to start yelling at me because it didn't like that I turned into that parking lot to set up the stream. So give me just... But if the stream quality does start to decrease substantially, if you guys could just let me know in the chat so I can at least be aware of it. Let's turn the volume back up for Google Maps so that it can talk to me. So it has been quite the cluster of a day. I've seen the aftermath of multiple vehicle accidents. I witnessed a vehicle accident. The vehicle was trying to pass a line of semis in the unplowed left lane in a rear-wheel drive pickup truck, and they hit a slick spot and spun out into the median, went completely the wrong direction. I thought the vehicle was about to flip, but luckily it didn't flip. Oh, come on, gotta get some traction. Vehicle was going to completely flip. It did not, and the guy inside was okay. He was not very happy, but he was okay, and he had blown out a tire in the process of going into the median. So he couldn't exactly just drive out. Here we go. We are now streaming on YouTube, which I didn't think was going to happen today. the snow is at, and it gets me in the general direction of heading back home. So we'll be almost due east of St. Louis in not too long. Probably about an hour or so we'll be due east of St. Louis. So we'll see what traffic's like the entire way up. The roads are not bad when you get in the nicely plowed areas, and the areas like this with all the slush in the middle, it's super greasy and super slick, and this is the kind of snow that was on the road when that pickup was trying to pass. When it's just the light fluffy snow, it's not a big deal, but I'm not dogging on the snowplow people because they have jobs to do, but I honestly think in this specific situation, adding the salt to the roads is making it worse because it's not icing here, and it's just kind of melting the snow to make it slushy enough to make it super slick. But it's just my unprofessional opinion because I'm not familiar with all that stuff. How long we will be streaming, where we will be streaming, or what we may encounter other than snow to be streaming, but we'll find out. Weather where all the viewers are watching from. Are you guys in the snow, or are you in a nice warm place like Florida and avoiding all this stuff? Okay, Amar, thanks. Of course it's sunny and 64 degrees for you. For me it is cloudy, snowy, and 11 degrees, which is actually a heat wave compared to Wisconsin. It's still freaking cold, but it's not 17 below real temperature, not wind chill. I'm beginning to regret asking you. For a bit of a loop when I was driving down here last night was apparently around here, at least in certain portions of the area, they have rumble strips in between each of the individual lanes, not just on the side of the road. So like when you're changing lanes to pass someone, you hit the rumble strips, and a couple times it freaked me out a little bit, especially this morning when there was a little bit of snow. I was like, oh, I'm just passing, and then I was like, oh, is that the side of the road? Nope, it's just in between the lanes. Which I guess is good for helping people realize that they're not maintaining their lanes. But in snowy conditions, it's like, okay, is this a lane or is it not? happen almost a couple of times today. Oh, it was really eerie this morning driving around. It was probably about 9, 10 o'clock, and I had been on the interstate for about 2.5 hours, and I had seen about 30 vehicles in 2.5 hours on the interstate. Like, there was nobody out. Oh, we gotta slow down here. Hold on. We've got vehicles at a dead stop. Rear lights on. Don't know if this is just because the left lane is closed. If there's something else going on up here. And out of all those vehicles that I had seen, about 10 of them were snow plows. And about, how many vehicles did I say I saw? Like 35, 40-ish. So about 10 of them. Okay, I'm just getting over because this person's riding my bumper and I don't want them to smack me. Oh, now they're cutting behind me again. Oh, hopefully it's just people moving slow from the lane closure. But we'll find out when we get up here. I can't tell if it's truckers that just have their four-ways on or if they are trying to switch to the right lane. But anyway, I saw about 35, 40 vehicles. About 10 of them were snow plows. And the remaining 80% were semis. I saw like 5 like SUV trucks or cars. And see, this is one of the other issues. So many trucks, these semi-trucks, you can't see any of their tail lights because they're covered in snow. So they're braking and you can't even see. You can just see that you're gaining on them. Like this guy to the left here, you can see none of his tail lights. We found some travel impacts. Yep, and just like that, we're in a traffic jam. Earlier I almost saw a semi-tanker truck completely rear-end the back of another semi because one of the semis decided to just completely stop in the right lane when there was a shoulder and like you couldn't see its taillights and like there was snow coming up behind him basically. The tanker swerved way around and barely missed him. Like he just stopped in the right lane. I was like, oh, that's smart. I see lots of fallen trees over there. They must have exploded. According to Google Maps, it says this should only last until like this little curve up here, but I don't think I trust it. Well, we'll find out. Yeah, yes, it is snowing now. This has been what it's been like all day. It's been these very, very tiny snowflakes that don't show up well on the camera. But it's been snowing since about 4 o'clock this morning in the Paducah area. On and off from like 4 till 7 a.m. but constantly from 7 a.m. to now 4 p.m. And there's probably 2 inches of snow at the most right now. Like you can still see the thin grass on the side of the road. So it's been snowing but not much accumulation. That might change overnight tonight. It might change overnight. I haven't looked at the models because I honestly considered going home because I wasn't able to stream. So I kind of stopped looking at the model data, but we'll be able to see. And this is why you don't ride other trucks' bumpers when you're in a traffic jam. Especially on ice and snow. Yep, keep accelerating as the truck in front of you is braking. Man, this guy on the left is just, can't even get his license plate because it's covered. Going so slow that it didn't even register on that construction's your speed sign. Yes, I am chasing and on the way home. How much I will be chasing yet overnight tonight and potentially even tomorrow morning, I'm not sure. Kind of depends on the impacts, but if there's stuff worthwhile to stay out for, I'm definitely going to stay out. Actually, Amar, I have my go anywhere I want high-vis jacket on, so not quite a snow trooper. No, I am not going for the tornado threat in Alabama. That is still quite a good haul away from where I'm at. And I don't feel like driving to Alabama. To be perfectly honest, I don't feel like going to southern Alabama. It'd be warm, but no. I had actually kind of forgotten about that until you said that. I was like, oh yeah, that did go slight risk tomorrow. See if I can clean off the camera and the windshield icing up. windshield isn't icing up, the windshield wipers are icing up, making them not clear the windshield. And stay in your lane, please, and do not sideswipe me. This traffic is abysmal. This is the worst traffic jam I've been in all day, by far. So yes, Google Maps definitely lied to us about how long this slowdown would last. It's just changing. It just keeps showing that it's like the same short distance in front of us. So it makes me wonder if there's like one truck going really slow and it's holding everyone up. Guess we'll find out. Great success, Plumbo. Great success. Was that our traffic jammer there? It very well might have been. Just like that. Oh, never mind. This would have been a very, very miserable drive if I wasn't able to stream. Because I still would have been kind of depressed that I wasn't able to stream. And then this traffic on top of it would have just made it exponentially more annoying. Let me tell you, this stretch of interstate has the most construction I have seen in a very long time. Like, it's just like 20 miles of road just barreled off. And then, 'cause I took this route on the way down. And then after that, you go like another 10 miles, and then there's another 15 miles barricaded off. And then you go another couple miles, and then it says construction ahead, slow down, and they dropped the speed limit from 70 to 55 for like 100 feet of construction, and that goes back up to 70. And whoever's in charge of their DOT construction, whatever, they really need to give you more heads up that, hey, the speed limit's changing ahead. I counted from the time it says speed limit 55 miles per hour up ahead to the time when it goes down to 55 miles per hour in the construction zone where it says speed is enforced by photograph. you have 5 seconds to brake from 70 miles an hour to 55 from the time that you see the sign. It's like, that's genius. Let's see what this lane is like. Also jam-packed. Sounds about right. Yeah, that is dumb. So like I'm over there, I see the sign and I like mash on the brakes because there's no one else around behind me to hit me. And then then it's like one of those, oh, guess what? It's 100 feet of construction, so you go down to 55 for 100 feet and then you go back up to 70. And there was nobody working, obviously. It's like, man, really? Parade of snowplows over there. 1, 2, 5 of them all parked on the ramp. But what you see now is about the makeup of vehicles that I saw earlier this morning in proportion. Like, the vast majority of all the vehicles out were semis. And you get like one vehicle like here and there. This guy doesn't know what lane he wants to be in. Hey, look, the windshield got cleaned off for the most part. That's nice. Not going back and forth between lanes like this to try to pass these vehicles. I'm going back and forth between these lanes because depending on the lane there's a semi racing up on me and I don't want to get smushed when they can't stop on the snow. Made it up to 47 miles an hour. That is fantastic progress. And now we're back to low visibility. This is the light, fluffy snow that just went everywhere and makes it very hard to see. Yep, hit your brakes, you're gonna rear end that dude. Good gracious. I really didn't think he was gonna stop, and I thought he was gonna cut over into my lane for extra braking distance. These semi-truck drivers, I tell ya. Most of them are good, but when you get in a convoy of the impatient ones, whether it's because they're running behind because of the weather or whatnot, when you get in a group of them like this, it's like, man, just Everyone's gonna get there eventually, just you don't have to race up on the person in front of you's brake lights. Semi-snow globe right now. The camera doesn't seem to be picking up on it very well, but it is drastically decreasing the visibility on the road. Camera seems to be able to focus in through it better with the lens on it. Yep, they're driving like they don't have thousands of pounds of truck behind them. And see all these orange signs that say all trucks use left lane? Yep, I'm just gonna leave that there. I see we have now found one other SUV in the pack of vehicles that is now behind us. Maybe if like the pack cars just like band together, we can make it through this. I don't know. Just like wave everyone on. Yeah, come on guys, let's like form a four-wheeler conga line or something. areas where it gets real slushy real quick. I would greatly appreciate it if I could pass this truck to get the one that's almost sideswiping me off my back door. There we go. We seem to have found somewhat open roads again. Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, it was just a bottleneck of tractor trailers. A speed demon coming on up here. Watch this, he's probably going to try to cut in front of me. Further do I have on this road before I have to turn off? I feel like I have some sort of turn coming up. Four and a half miles stay to the right. That I can do. Indeed, Amar. Indeed they are. Left lane closed in a mile. Let's see if we get another traffic jam of semis. Sounds like so much fun. Who's ready for it? I also need to figure out what I'm going to have for supper. I haven't eaten much today. I don't even know what's open around here with the snow. How has the stream signal been holding out? to hear. That's actually fairly impressive given that we've been running the entire thing on only Starlink. It's actually very impressive. Consider me impressed, Elon, for the moment, I guess. Oh, look, end of the work zone speed limit. Fantastic. With the blowing snow like this, I almost prefer it to be dark out compared to daytime because the fog lights cut through it a lot better so you can actually see. But when it's light out, it's harder to get the contrast. Keep right. That's what Google says, so that's what we're gonna do. See if we can sneak by this semi here. So I have no problem passing semis in this semi-unplowed lane when it's this soft, fluffy snow. But when it's that slushy stuff, that's when I'm like, nope, not doing it. Because then you end up in the ditch like that truck I was talking about earlier. Welcome, as Plumbo said. Effingham, 63 miles. Chicago, only 277. Oh, one of his side doors came unlatched and was hanging off the side. Fantastic. Mango, huh, Plumbo? Well, it's too bad that I'm allergic to mango. After the Mongolian Empire. I made that joke and I saw 3 people leave the stream. It was that bad of a joke. knew it was a bad joke, but I didn't think it was that bad. Hot wings? Ooh, that actually sounds good. Am I gonna have that tonight? No, but it still sounds good. Flambeau gives you wings. Another bad joke. This dry humor is just flowing today, apparently. We'll be getting into a band of heavy snow in just a couple miles. I just peeped radar for the first time in like an hour. So I'm like in the next like, oh, hold on. Nope, that was an old scan because I hadn't looked at radar in so long. Well, it'll be snowing at some point and we'll find more snow again. It's not just blowing around behind semis. Pretty hefty band, like due north of St. Louis, and that's moving east, so we'll probably catch up to that by like Decatur. And I cannot see anything. With the semi kicking up the snow, I can't see more than like 20 feet in front of us. There we go, now it's cleared out again. We're probably gonna head continually north on the interstate here, so maybe Decatur, maybe we'll go west before then. Not quite sure. I debated going over to St. Louis to see how things were going over there, but I don't know if I want to do that because, well, one, we would have had to take that other interstate turn off a couple miles back. pull up to Effingham and then take I-70 east towards Terre Haute. And then from there we can drop south if we want to. It just keeps us in the snow bands for a little bit longer now. I don't think there's really a right or a wrong place to go. It's just kind of go wherever you want, and there will be snow at some point of varying intensities. Weather reports from today. Has the ice storm been as impactful as they were anticipating? I have zero clue about that. That was I saw power utility vehicles on the other side of the road, and I was like, huh. Must have exploded. I just realized the angle of view on the camera with like the snow over the road, it makes it look like I'm going extremely fast. I'm not, but it just makes it look like, well, here's the slushies. That's the stuff that can make you slip out real quick. this whole snow event occurred later than I had anticipated. I thought it would have gotten going much earlier this morning. So by the time I stopped driving last night and I was going to get up early this morning, I was like, I don't want to pay for a motel. So I was absolutely freezing last night and I slept in the vehicle. That was less than enjoyable. It was a whopping 10 degrees last night. It was worth it in many senses because, you know, I didn't have to unload all my stuff in the vehicle, load it back up. And the only decent motel was like $170 a night. And I was like, $200 for a motel that I'm going to get to at 10 o'clock at night and leave at 5 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, no thanks. Was it miserable? Sometimes. Was it worth saving the money? Yes. Is it worth saving the money again tonight? No. No, it is not. I'm gonna get a nice motel tonight with a warm breakfast in the morning. Whoever that'll be. Just to get the internal temperature back up, but yeah, that was an experience, that's for sure. It has completely stopped snowing in this area. Further north than I-70. At least later this evening. We might want to go up a little further to like Decatur and then eventually head back south. Plenty of time for additional significant snowfall before the winter storm warnings expire, but I think so far this event has underperformed quite a bit, just based on what I've seen. If someone has any contrary information and wants to be like, hey, you're wrong, go for it. But just based on what I've seen personally, at least the areas that I've been in seems to have significantly underperformed thus far. Not saying we're out of the woods yet, but overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. That you could be here. I'm glad that I could be here. No, Google Maps, do not do that. No. It's trying to alter me on a different route for, quote, faster time. The story of how I almost didn't make it down here to Chase. That was a interesting predicament that I ran into yesterday. So I was at our base of operations. I had everything loaded up in the vehicle. I had made those vehicle upgrades over the previous couple of days, which I streamed the outcome of some of those. So I start heading down the street, and I'm not even 3 miles away from our base of operations, and everything just goes haywire on the vehicle. Like the speedometer stops working, the RPMs just show 0, the traction light comes on, and then I lose power steering, all within about 10 seconds. So I was like, oh, well, that's not good. So I pulled off into parking lot almost immediately, trying to figure out, I pull out my code reader to see, okay, what codes are being triggered, and it's like, it was negative 17 degrees at that point, so I was trying to figure all this out rather quickly, and I was like, know what, I'm like 3 miles away from base of operations, and we have heated garage there, so I'm like, okay, I'll just go back there. I put the vehicle in reverse, and it is not going in reverse. Like, the front wheels are not moving at all. push it back, and then drive forward, put it back in neutral, and turn the wheel and push myself out of the spot. So I got out of the parking spot, and then I started heading down the road, and the vehicle, it must have been like a limp mode or something, it refused to let me get out of first gear. So I was going like 10 miles an hour down the shoulder for 3 miles back to base. I finally got there and I was like, okay, what's messed up? Did I pull something loose when I was running the wires for the mirror lights? Did I accidentally drill a hole in something somewhere? I had no idea. So I was trying to figure all this stuff out. So I had also, spoiler alert, I'll add this fact in, I had also replaced the front turn signal bulbs with LEDs. I knew that that would potentially cause some minor issues like the rapid flash of the blinkers and such because of lower power draw and things that turn signal bulb is out, so it does that to pretty much alert you, hey, you have a bulb out. So I didn't know if it was the new lights or something or what, so I disconnected all of my external strobe lights and I replaced all of the LED turn signal bulbs back with the halogen ones. And then I went, and I disconnected the battery, let everything reset, and then I cleared the codes afterwards to see if they would come back. So I went for a test drive and everything seemed to be okay. So I was like, okay, well, it must have been one of those things. So then I hooked all of the lights back, the strobe lights back up, not the turn signals. And everything still works fine. And I put it through the paces of everything. I accelerated, decelerated. I had various voltage drops from running different equipment. And it worked. So who would have thunk that replacing the turn signal bulbs with LEDs without adding a resistor in would send the vehicle into a completely, basically disabled mode because it was affecting the BCM and ECM, the body control module and the electronic control module, into thinking that there was something wrong with the power, so it was trying to compensate, doing a whole bunch of stuff. Who would have thunk that changing some turn signal bulbs can completely disable a vehicle? That was not on my bingo card. So that whole ordeal took about 3 hours, which is another reason why I didn't get a motel last night. Was I was like, oh, I'll just get down there at like 5 o'clock, I can get a normal check-in. No, it was much later. So that wasted, I won't say wasted, it utilized, that's not a good way to put it. It set me back 3 hours, I'll say it like that. It set me back 3 hours. So that's my story of woe from yesterday. Come to think of it, on this trip I've had a lot of fairly boring view at the moment, just driving down a mostly paved road. Oh, thank you, Farmer's Wife, thank you. Hopefully I will have a better day the rest of today and tomorrow. I'm hopeful on that. I hope I used up all of my not so good days earlier in this trip, so I was gonna say that would probably buy me about a bottle of water at the motel, but I have a full case of water, so I'll use that I will use that money more wisely, opposed to a $5 bottle of water at a motel. It's outrageous how much they charge for that stuff. Especially if you're already paying $170 a night. Speaking of, I am extremely thirsty. I should probably grab one of these bottles of water that I have. Educational moment. There would have been more snow that we would be encountering on this drive up here. Like I said, we'll get into heavier snow again in a little bit, but there's like not even a single flake coming down right now. So there's not even any like semis to complain about or anything. I think southern Indiana will be the place to be. The National Weather Service, the forecast database, has them getting a wide area down there, getting 14 inches of snow between now and like midday tomorrow. pretty much just been on the interstates all day. Highway 40, I believe. 40. And I've got to turn Google Maps off or she's going to start yelling at me because I'm taking a different route. Starting to come down again and reduce visibilities a little bit. Be able to turn onto Highway 40 east. State highway is definitely in worse shape. We just passed over it. So we'll go check that out. Much less maintained than the interstate, which is to be expected. See what roads are like in town here as we head over to Highway 40. We've still got over 5/8 of a tank of gas, so we're good there. We'll turn here because we can. better to know now than when you're trying to stop or swerve for something. I guess this doesn't take us to 40. Looks like it takes us over 40, just like we did on the other bridge. We're taking the scenic route. I'm just going to put something in the GPS to give us directions. And GPS is telling us to turn around. Of course it is. There we go, now it's rerouted. You know, Google Maps tells us we could take a route that's 1 minute slower if we turn left up here and then turn right and then right again and come back onto this exact same road, literally just go around the block. Like, yes, I would love to make 3 additional turns for no purpose other than add more time. Oh, that looks like a fun road. Man, that's very tempting. I almost want to turn around and take that road. Where does it go? If it's a dead end, I'm not going to do it. It is not a dead end. Okay, I think we're going to do it. We're going to take that fun-looking road. Give me just 1 second. I do want to just adjust the positioning of the fog lights a little bit. Let's see. Only one of them adjusted. Why didn't the other one move? I mainly just wanted to step inside the vehicle because I didn't want to interact with those people that were driving by. steady enough for now. And then I'll see how I like it as I drive a little bit. I just left them how they were, because now they're not ideal. Well, actually less ideal than they were. But here we go. No trucks on this road. Alright, sounds like fun for us. Now the left fog light's like not even working, which is weird because that's as far up as it can turn with the bracket. This road isn't as fun as I thought. This road doesn't look very fun anymore. It's not as snow covered as it looked. So we'll probably flip around. I was hoping we would actually get some sort of decent snow covered road here that we could go on, but nope. To get past this house here, I'm going to stop one more time and hopefully do a final adjustment of that front fog light and then just brush off the rear of the vehicle so that all of the rear facing lights are also visible. What made me think that was the backup camera was completely covered. Let's try this again. Oh, it's windy. It is not pleasant out here. 9 degrees and windy. Yeah, not fun. Hello, Elaine. I just saw that message. Now we're moving again. Now I gotta turn the heat back up because I'm freezing. And yes, this road turned out to be extremely boring. Unfortunately, I had somewhat high hopes for it, but unfortunately not. what that humming noise was, and I think it's the fan on the inverter. That would make a lot of sense. McDonald's is open. Ooh, that's tempting. I'm gonna pass on it for now. Mainly because it looks like there's a lion. Miles till we turn. Everyone is enjoying their evening, staying warm. Having a fun weekend. Self-service pet wash. Clean your car and your dogs, and we have people walking across the road. When I stepped out of the vehicle, I'd say there's probably about 2 inches of accumulation in the areas that have been untouched. This would be fun to accelerate on. Yeah, there's that slushy stuff and it was right on a hill. Alright, now we are in Effingham, Illinois. Typically there's a overlay in the top left corner that has the current location, but given the stream setup I had to use today, that's not active, unfortunately. Effingham, Illinois is a lot smaller than I envisioned it, based on the map. Okay, that stop sign's not for us. Sure looked like it for a second. Fairly uneventful, I must say. I was thinking we would see something move over here for the plow. Let's check radar real quick. Now we're like in the quote heaviest band in the area. mean, this whole area is getting covered in snow on radar, so... I don't know, what do you guys want to do? Kind of at the point where I don't really know what I want to do. Starting to question the snowfall totals in general, just because of the size of the snowflakes. I've never seen snowflakes that are this fine produce significant snowfall amounts. Because it just takes so long for them to add up into anything substantial. Google Maps. We'll drive through this cute little town for sure. Going right down Main Street, I think. Going 22 miles an hour, it's telling me to slow down when the speed limit's 25. Actually, it's 30. thrown off because of where the storm track has gone, the amount of dry air in the atmosphere that had to be overcome. I believe they were predicting that the snowflakes, once the dry air that was entrained in the storm was kind of taken care of, that the snowflakes would increase in size and accumulate faster, but I'm just not seeing that happen. And thank you, Rogers. Definitely taking it easy on some of these roads. Hyperspace effect now, but the camera doesn't pick it up because the snowflakes are so fine. Hyperspace, hyperdrive, I knew what I was talking about. Yeah, the snowflakes are just so minuscule and fine that the camera just isn't even picking them up. That just goes to show how fine the snowflakes are and why it's taking them so long to accumulate. Cameras that I have are even picking it up. So it's not just the streaming camera. I completely lost track. 2 hours-ish? Well, like 2 hours, 10 minutes, I would think. I think I fired up the stream like 3:55 Central. later if things start to go downhill. So there's really not much happening. Let's have some fun. We going around the snowy corner. Just so hard to stream this kind of stuff when it's dark out because you can't get the perspective of everything. To be totally honest, I have never done a donut before. Never. All the traffic issues are down by Paducah, where I started out the day at 4 o'clock this morning. Seems pretty on par with my day. I don't think I'm up for doing a donut tonight. If it was daylight, maybe. I got the snowplow making a blizzard over here. What's the snowfall forecast for where we currently are? I have no idea. Still saying 10 inches of snow of additional snow for this location based on the forecast database. I find that really, really hard to believe. Some of the other Project Weather Eye folks, see if any of them have opinions on any of this. Got cop lights up ahead here. Which side of the interstate are they on? Looks like ours. There's a blizzard. My goodness. Far down in there. If the cop wasn't there, I would have asked them if they wanted to use just the traction boards to get out of there, but I'm sure they've already got someone on their way. They really didn't look like they were that far down in there. It was minimal snow. snow, I guess. There we go. Here's some snow for you guys. I don't even know how they went down in that ditch. There's no snow on the road. I have no idea. Maybe they got passed by another vehicle and they lost the visibility. I don't know. Very possible. Especially if they didn't anticipate it. Pretty windy. That I wasn't anticipating. I'll keep the stream up and running for a little bit. We've got snow falling. See what happens. it is still snowing, despite what the camera makes it look like. Put it on top of the plowing of the roads. I literally have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just still driving east. I mean, I've come this far, I might as well be in position so that if it becomes impactful, I can get there in time. But I really don't know what's going to happen. We'll get another blizzard as the semi passes. Wish the camera did better at picking up the small flakes so you guys could actually see something. Here comes the semi, here we go. Incoming blizzard. Wasn't as bad. We must be going a different probably keep the stream up and running until we cross over into Indiana, I guess. We're not terribly far. I did not think I would end up being in Indiana. Yeah, we're only like a half hour from there. Something drastic changes, I'm going to shut down the stream once we cross into Indiana, and then I'll continue to monitor throughout the overnight hours. I'm really hoping I don't get a motel and then it starts dumping snow at like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I need to leave by like 4 to go stream it. That would really suck. And miss out on the free hot breakfast. That's probably what's going to happen. Take a guess, that's probably what's going to happen. Welcome. Yes, it is nice to know I'm in a motel, but I have a feeling that I'm going to pay for the motel and then only get to utilize like half of the night that I paid for. I also haven't even looked at motels and how much they cost in the area. I'm a little afraid to check after last night. He's got his traction lights on. The only decent motel that I could find last night, okay, there were two. One was a Hilton, and it was, after all the taxes and everything, it was like almost $175 a night. There was a Best Western for about $145. And everything else that was cheaper than that had roaches and was just nasty. Like, reading the reviews, there was one from like a week ago that was like, yeah, there was roaches in our room, and then we complained, and then they kind of shrugged it off and moved us to another room. And then the other room also had roaches, but they were too tired to move rooms again, so they just dealt with it. So it's like, yeah, no thanks. I'd rather sleep in the vehicle in 10-degree weather than go sleep with roaches. That it's bad when the Super 8 has the best reviews out of all the motels in the area. Put a sleeping bag on there, and then I put some other clothes on there, so it's not sleeping on a complete plank, but it's definitely not a cushy mattress. road is getting a little bit slicker here. Pavement isn't as visible. Wouldn't say it's snow covered at this point, but it's getting closer. We're gonna get a mini blizzard as this pickup passes. Or not. Either the snow isn't as fluffy anymore, or that truck just wasn't big enough. We'll find out with this semi. I'd say a little of both. It's only 6:40. It feels like 9 o'clock at night. So far, this is what I have encountered for our winter storm. About less than 15 miles till we get to Indiana. What are we losing? Where are we losing? Fair enough. Unfortunate that the most eventful part of my day I was not streaming for. Oh boy, it's our favorite road construction ahead sign. Actually, that's our second favorite roadwork ahead sign. Our most favorite one is the construction 1-lane road ahead, prepare to stop. Barely missed that one. That was just about a bowling ball sized chunk of slush. That one was a baseball and I did not miss that one. Fire truck getting on the highway here, lights running. That means they're on their way to something. crashed 6 minutes ago. Not far up ahead, so that's where they're heading. They know where they're going either. Might not have had a good mile marker or something to go off of. Oh, that's why there's a jackknifed semi across the median. Holy smokes. That would do it. That would definitely do it. Just happened recently. A whole bunch of emergency vehicles still en route. Man, truck up here still trying to find a U-turn.